Welcome back to day 3 of your Pilates for runners. I hope your body is starting to feel good and feel that deep activation and just feel that revitalization as you are continuing with your program. Today we are going to be having a lot of fun getting that heart rate up, getting that deep activation, and this is a full body workout. So before we begin, we are going to start with a full body stretch and then get straight into our workout. Today we are starting in an all fours position in the center of our mat. Let's get that pelvis in neutral, taking a deep inhale, and on that exhale, pushing that spine all the way up towards the sky. Deep breath in, exhale, opening that chest. We're going to do a few of these before we progress the warm-up. Pushing that spine all the way back up, exhale, opening that chest. Let's do one more, pushing that spine up towards the sky as you allow that back to stretch out. And exhale, opening the chest as you look out in front of you and slowly coming back to neutral, tucking in those toes under those heels, lifting those glutes up towards the sky into that downward dog. Deep breath in, exhale, leaning more into that stretch as you draw your head through those arms, drawing that sternum towards the mat. Let's take a deep inhale, exhale, pushing that left heel into that floor as you bend that right knee and changing over. And let's just walk those legs out as we're inhaling and exhaling. Now pushing both heels into the ground as you draw your head through those arms, rotating your pelvis up towards the sky. Deep breath in and exhaling, dropping that left heel into the ground as you bend that right knee off the mat and extend it up towards the sky. Let's lift that left heel off the floor. We're just going to hold here for 2 deep breaths. Inhale, exhale, and inhale and exhale, slowly dropping that right leg down, dropping that right heel into the ground as you bend that left knee and extend it up towards the sky. Now lifting that right heel off the floor and deep breath. Inhale and exhale. And one more deep breath in. Exhale, dropping that left leg back to the floor, pushing both heels into the ground as you draw that head through those arms. Now slowly dropping those knees back into the mat as you bring yourself all the way into rest position. Those arms towards that opposite left corner as you open your right side of your body. Deep breath in, exhale, walking yourself back to center, and then slowly transferring towards that right hand side of the body. Just use this time to get that body warm and just to prepare your mind and your body for the sequence we are about to do. Let's come back into that all fours position. We're going to lift our right leg and left arm into a Superman hold, drawing belly to spine, and we're going to hold here for 10 seconds. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Grabbing that right ankle with that left hand and drawing those toes towards the ceiling as you look in front of you, and again holding here, sucking belly to spine, aligning those hips. You should feel a stretch into those quads and hip flexors, as well as an activation into that right glute while maintaining that stability. Deep breath in, exhale, extending those limbs back out, getting ready for our knee to elbow crunches. Deep breath in, exhale, elbow to knee and extend. We're going to do 8 of these, just allowing the blood to start flowing as we prepare. That's 3. And to center and extend. And we're halfway. 5. Keep going. 6 and 7 and 8. Extending, dropping those limbs back to starting point as we inhale. Exhale, extending left leg and right arm. Holding here, imagining like you're being pulled, your wrist is being pulled in the opposite direction to that ankle. Aligning and keeping that activation. Let's go for another 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Grabbing that left ankle with that right hand, extending those toes up towards the sky, keeping that alignment, looking in front of you and holding. Deep breaths. Just allow that stretch, welcome those stretches. Let's go for another 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Extending left leg and right arm. And again, we're going to prepare for those elbow knee tucks. Let's take a deep breath in. Exhale, elbow to knee and extend. And just work really hard here when you're bringing that elbow to your knee to maintain that stability by activating your core and your glutes, keeping that vision straight down in front of you. That neck stays in neutral, and we're halfway. And 3 more, keeping that tummy tight. And extending, dropping those limbs, tucking those toes under those heels, lifting back into that downward dog, drawing that head through those arms. Deep breath, both heels into the ground. And taking a deep inhale as we bend those knees and come back into that rest position. Let's enjoy this last little bit of slow controlled movement before we progress into our workout. We're going to do a few sequences with breaks in between, but during our sequences I want us to try and push through without rest. If you do find that you are losing integrity of your activation, then you can stop, rest, realign and get back into the workout, joining in as we go. Let's come back into that all fours position, taking a deep inhale, exhale, bringing right leg out and left leg out into that forward front support position. Let's take a deep inhale, exhale, knee tuck and extend. That's 1. Then left, keep going, looking straight down in front of you. Keep going, inhaling and exhaling as we're working. Let's do 4 more on each side. Slow and controlled knee tucks, bringing belly to spine. 1 more on each side. Now slowly bringing right leg in, and we're just going to hold here. Heel stays above those toes, keeping that core tight, sucking belly in. And let's go for another 3, 2, 1. Lifting leg up into 3-legged downward dog and holding here. Now slowly bringing that leg back in, coming back into that front support position, extending right leg, and now bringing left leg in and holding, controlling that breath, feeling that activation into that tummy and that core. And let's go for another 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lifting leg into that 3-legged downward dog and coming back into that bent knee position, extending and holding here in this front support position for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Coming back into downward dog, allowing this break before we progress. Slowly rolling ourselves back into that front support position, bringing both feet and ankles in contact with one another and turning over and rolling onto that side of that left foot as you come into a side plank. And we're slowly going to hold in this position for 10, 9, 8, 7. Keep breathing. 3, 2, 1. Coming back into that front support position. And deep breath in. Exhale, right knee tuck, extend, then left knee tuck. And keep working. We're going to do 8 of these. We're halfway. And slowly coming back to center, coming back into that downward dog, and slowly rolling into that front support, ankles and feet together as you roll over onto the side of that right foot, extending and holding into that side plank. If you want some modification, you can just bend those knees in and maintain that positioning. Just remember, core tight, shoulders aligned, hips aligned. Slowly turning around into that front support position, and we're going to hold for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lifting back into downward dog, allowing that head to come through those arms. You will find with sequences like that, there will be a little bit of pressure onto those wrists. Give yourself grace. If you don't do this often, you will find that it will be quite tender and sore. So let's just lean back. Let's take some pressure off those wrists just for a little bit, pushing those shoulders into the ground. And slowly turning over onto our left hand sides. So we're on our all fours, and we're just keeping our weight on that left side. But we're going to fall onto that elbow now. We're lifting our hips off the floor into a side plank. Hips, knees, and shoulders all aligned. Core tight, hips forward. We're going to bring that other arm up towards the sky, extending that upper leg. And we're going to do 2 pulses forward, then 2 pulses back. And we are pointing our toes in the direction we're going. So just keep working and maintaining the height of that hip while you're working. The key here is to maintain that control of that pelvis as you move forward and back. And let's do 3 more, and 1, and 2, and 3, and back to center, and little pulsations for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Dropping that leg down. Let's extend those legs out. I want that right ankle over that left leg. Let's extend that left arm. We're going to take a deep inhale, and as we exhale, we're lifting those hips off the floor as you reach your arm up and overhead, and slowly coming back down just to hover. You can see I'm not going all the way down. Lifting back up and extending, and slowly coming back. That's 2. We're going to do 4 of these. That's 3. And last one. Lifting up and over, and slowly coming back down and turning over to lie down on that back. Let's lift those hips off the floor. We're in that supine position. Let's take a deep inhale, exhaling, lifting those hips up towards the sky, digging those heels into the ground, squeezing those glutes, bringing arms up towards the ceiling, palms facing each other, lifting right leg up, and we're going to do bent leg toe tap into straight leg lower. That's 1. As we're doing the slow and controlled movements leading through that left heel and through that left glute, as we extend, making sure that those hips are aligned and tucking belly to spine. Let's do 3 more. And last one. Aligning those knees together, bring arms to T-point, then back to center. That's 1. And 2. The key here is to do these movements slowly so you can get a deep activation in those muscles. And remember just to tuck in that pubic bone towards your chin so you don't compromise that lower back. Let's do 3 more. And 1 and 2 and 3. Back to center, bringing that right leg into tabletop, dropping right leg, lifting left leg up, deep breath in, exhale, bent leg, toe tap into straight leg lower. That's 1. Keeping that core tight and keeping that rhythmical movement between your breath and that movement of those limbs. And lower. Inhale, center, exhale, toe tap. Inhale, center, exhale, extend. Keep going. You want to stabilize with that right leg and glute. Let's do 2 more. Keep working. And aligning those knees, arms to T-point, then back to center. That's 1 and 2. Keep going. Inhale, center, exhale, down. And 3 more. And 2. And 3. And last little push, dropping that left leg into tabletop, then dropping it down, lifting those glutes towards the sky. Keeping that alignment of those hips, we're drawing those knees out, then back to center. That's 10, 9, 8. Should feel a beautiful burn into those glutes. 4, 3, and 2, and 1. Dropping those hips all the way back down, extending both legs up towards the sky, interlacing your hands behind the back of your right knee as you lower that left leg all the way to the ground, lifting head, neck, and chest. And we're just going to go into hamstring pull for a few moments before we progress. So just drawing each knee towards our chest and allowing that stretch into those back of those hamstrings while maintaining a good core activation. And last one, slowly coming back to center, bring those legs into tabletop and dropping head, neck, and chest onto the mat, keeping that core tight, interlacing hands comfortably behind your head. We're going to lift head, neck, and chest off the floor, extending that left leg, just hovering off that mat. And we're going to keep the positioning of those legs, keeping those toes pointed. We're going to lift up and slowly controlling back down. That's 1. Exhale, up and down. Just make sure when you're lifting and lowering, you're maintaining that good positioning of both legs and that activation of that core. Let's do 3 more. Keep going. Lifting up, head, neck, and chest off the floor, supporting that neck with your hands. We're going to lift and lower that left leg. That's 1 and 2, keeping that tummy tight. 3, 4, and 5, 6, 7, last 1, and 8, leaving that leg hovering. We're going to lift that left shoulder towards that right knee for 8. That's 1 and 2, 3, 4, and 5, and 6, 7, and 8. Slowly hugging that knee towards the chest as you drop head, neck, and chest back to the floor, dropping that left leg and just allowing a slow active recovery before we progress towards the other side. Very nice. Felt a deep burn all the way down my tummy. That wasn't easy, but well done for pushing through. Just remember the activation needs to come from the front of the body and not from the back. If you're straining that lower back, rather keep that opposite leg completely on the floor, then hover it. Let's lift both legs back up into that tabletop. Right leg up, left leg up, interlacing those hands behind our head, lifting head, neck, and chest off the floor, extending that right leg hovering just off the floor. Left leg stays in that tabletop. If you're finding that you're struggling to maintain that activation, you can bring that knee in a little bit more or drop that right leg. And let's take a deep inhale, exhale, lowering and lifting up. That's 1. Keep going. Slow, controlled movement. Sucking through that waist. Don't brace with your tummy. You just want a nice, deep activation. And if you find that these reps are too high, you can stop at 6 or even at 4, rest, and then jump back in. Lifting up and lowering and lifting that right leg. Keeping head, neck, and chest off the floor. Keep going. Let's do 2 more before we do our rotations. And lowering and hovering that right leg, deep breath in, exhale, rotate. That's 1 and 2. 3, keep pushing. 4, halfway. 5, 6, 7, and 8. Hugging that left knee as you drop that right leg, dropping head, neck, and chest onto the floor. Wow, well done. Let's bring those knees into a tabletop position, arms in T position, and we're just going to rock those knees and hips from side to side, just allowing deep recovery. Just let that mobility stretch out that back and that tummy. Slowly extending both legs onto the mat, bringing arms overhead, deep breath in. Exhale, lifting yourself all the way up into seated position, coming over onto that right hand side. We're going to lift ourselves into a side plank, lifting that other arm up towards the sky, extending that left leg. Remember, hips and shoulders stacked, core tight, and 2 pulses forward, 2 pulses back, keeping that core tight. The key here is really focusing on that stability of that pelvis as that leg moves forward and back. And remember, my toes are pointing in the direction that my foot is going. Keeping that hip high. And last 2. Coming back to center and little pulsations for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Dropping that leg down, extending those feet, left foot over right ankle, extending that right hand, getting ready for our side bends. Let's take a deep breath in. Exhale, lifting yourself up and overhead, looking towards the direction of that hand. Inhale, lower to hover. And that's 2. And 3. Keep going. And last 1. And 4. Just going to hold here for 2 deep breaths. And slowly coming all the way back down, turning over onto your tummy for your final sequence. We're going to bend both legs off the floor, keeping core tight, resting your forehead on your hands, squeezing that core, lifting those knees off the floor. We're going to extend and bend while we rest that upper body, and keeping those ankles and knees together. And we're halfway. Exhale, extend, inhale, center. Keep going. And extending and holding here, going straight into flutter kicks for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Slowly dropping those legs down. Deep inhale. Exhale, lifting those legs back up, bending those knees. I want you to grab your ankles with those hands, and we're going to just go from our center with our knees slightly off the floor to extending those toes towards the sky as you open that chest. So that's the movement. We're inhaling, nose to floor, exhale, open chest as you draw those knees up. That's 2 and 3. Keeping core tight, allowing that back to stretch out, using those glutes to increase that range of motion. And let's do 2 more. The last one we're going to hold for 8 seconds. Lifting up and holding. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Dropping those knees, extending those legs. Bring those arms out in front of you to lift yourselves back up into rest position. Pushing the shoulders into the ground. Now slowly lifting yourself into all fours and dropping that pelvis to the ground as you open that chest towards the sky, allowing that tummy to stretch out. And last one, coming back into that rest position, pushing those shoulders into the ground, and then back, opening that chest, and slowly coming back to seated. Thanks for joining me during that Power Pilates workout session. I hope you felt the burn, and just keep pushing through. If you do struggle, rather stop, rest, reset, and get back into it. Well done, and I'll see you in the next video.